move that's raising some eyebrows, Pope Francis decided to approve the appointment of the Bishop of Shanghai, who was previously installed by Chinese authorities without the Vatican's approval. Vatican Correspondent Colm Flynn joins us now to explain the significance of the Pope's decision.
Good evening, Tracy. Firstly, it's important to remind people that the Vatican does not have diplomatic relations with China. What it does have is a deal that was signed back in 2018 called the Provisional Agreement for the Appointment of Bishops in China. And in a nutshell, prior to the deal, many bishops in China were appointed and controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Of course, normally a bishop is appointed by the Vatican here in Rome, no matter where they are in the world. This agreement between the Vatican and China stated that China nominates bishops before they are named by Pope Francis, while the Pope supposedly had the authority to veto a bishop that China chooses. Well, that agreement has been broken by China several times, such as in April, when Bishop Joseph Sen Bin was moved from the Diocese of Haimen to the Diocese of Shanghai, which is the largest in China. It was the Chinese government who decided to move him without the knowledge or approval of the Catholic Church. Bishop Sen Bin is 53 and was consecrated as a Catholic bishop in 2010 with the consent of both the Pope and the Chinese authorities. Now, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, he is the Vatican's Secretary of State. He confirmed in a recent interview that the Vatican had not been consulted about the bishop's move and his appointment to the Diocese of Shanghai. He said this went against the spirit of dialogue and collaboration. So what has the Pope's response been? Well, Pope Francis went ahead and formally recognized Bishop Sen Bin as the new Bishop of Shanghai 3 months after the fact, and again despite the Vatican not having been involved in the process. Now, this latest revelation has reinforced the position of many Catholics that the Vatican should never have made this deal with China in the first place. Archbishop Paul Gallagher, who is the Vatican Secretary for Relations with States, essentially the Vatican's foreign minister, told me in a recent interview that while the arrangement wasn't ideal, it was the best solution at the time. Better to have some dialogue than no relations at all. Cardinal Parolin said that the Pope's decision to approve the bishop's appointment was for, quote, the greater good of the Shanghai diocese, and that Bishop Sheen himself was an esteemed pastor. But Cardinal Parolin said that the Vatican now hopes in the future that decisions on appointments will be made together by consensus. He called on China to, quote, respect the agreement. And this is not the first time, Tracy, that China has violated the deal. As I said, for example, just last November, Pope Francis issued a statement expressing surprise and regret after Chinese authorities named Father Peng Zihao as the auxiliary bishop of Jiaxing, a diocese that the Vatican does not even recognize. And as for the Diocese of Shanghai, it has been without a bishop since the death of its last one, Bishop Jing Laxian, in 2013. In his earlier life, he had been imprisoned and sent to re-education camps. And Tracy, in 2005, Bishop Joseph Xing Weizi was made auxiliary bishop of Shanghai, but in 2011, he disappeared from public view and has never been seen since. In Rome, Colm Flynn for EWTN News Nightly.